Yes, yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the May 14th, 2026 Orange County Transportation Council Planning Committee meeting to order. We're going to start off with introductions. Denise just joined us.
Well, I went to the other place first.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oh, my Denise, come on. That I actually asked Nicole to make sure I went to the right place. Yeah, I went to the wrong place. And I walked in and I was like, oh, and I was off at 12:30 and I was doing work and.
Oh, my goodness.
That's why we weren't there.
Okay, I'll kick us off with the in-person roll call. We'll go clockwise around the table and then counterclockwise around the room, just to confuse everyone. Alan Sorensen, Commissioner of Planning, MPO Director.
Stacy Butler, Deputy Commissioner of Planning.
Jesse Dwyer, Town of Warwick Supervisor. Jacob William, City of Middletown, Commissioner of Public Works. Gary Spears, Town of Deer Park Supervisor.
Jason Morris, City of Newburgh, City Manager.
I'll just say them, the Richard Paris, George, and
Jasmine Jobson, New York State Department of Transportation.
Chris Fair, Senior Planner with the OCTC.
Brandon Wheels, Orange County Transportation, Orange County Department of Planning.
Ron Farrington, Senior Transit Planner, Department of Planning.
Stephanie Miller, Assistant County Attorney.
John Dunn, the West County Legislator.
we'll see.
John Dunn. Joan Arnett, I'm Blair, Transit W.
Meredith Foy, Orange County Parks.
Herbalist, GPI, Greenman Peterson Incorporated.
Okay. Raina, next, if you will please, I'll lead the on-call participant roll call.
I sure can. Anybody from New York State DOT online? I see we have Nicole Farmer, Region 8, and Hallie Moseni, who are now admitted. If I could just do that roll call one more time. Welcome, Nicole Farmer and Allie Moseni from NISDOT. Do we have anyone on the call from New York State Thruway Authority? None at this time. Do we have anyone on the call for MTA? None at this time. FHWA? None at this time. FTA? None at this time. And New York State Bridge Authority? And none at this time from NYSBA. However, I do see Valen Parsons on from MTA. Hello, Valen, how you doing? Also joining us, we have David Lake. Michael's iPhone. Mike, if you could just give us first and last name and affiliation in the chat, we'd appreciate that. Dan Perkowski, representing Labella Consultant. Bert Thielander, welcome Bert. Scott Manley, how you doing? We also have with us, I believe if I didn't already say it, Bert and Thielander, and that would conclude our online roll call.
Raina, thank you. All right, we're going to move on. Is there anyone else?
Can we put the people on the screen there?
Oh, yeah. Can we show the participants on the screen? Okay. As we're doing that, I will ask for a call for citizen participation. Do any members of the public wish to provide commentary to the planning committee? If so, please announce yourself and your affiliation. I'm wondering if can people hear us?
And can we hear them? What else since we've been in this room? What's the setup with?
We're going to pause just for, I want to make sure our communications are.
It's like Scott.
Yeah.
The beach.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully. This. And that's sort of what I'm going to computer essentially, so it should show up. Shit.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's try
In
that.
this case, yeah, in
Hello.
this case, this is the worst case. Worst case. So,
Nicole Farmer in the chat said she can hear us.
She
Thank you,
can.
Nicole.
Okay, Nicole, thank you for confirming.
That's what it's gonna look like, unfortunately. As well as- Fine.
Okay. We can't seem to hear them.
Yeah, that was.
Nicole, thumbs up if you can hear us.
Okay, there
Thank
she
you.
is. Thanks, Nick.
Can you say something?
She's muted.
Because we're not hearing anyone.
Nicole's muted though.
But I think Bert's trying to talk.
Yes,
He
there
put
we
his
go.
arm-
Can
you hear me now?
Ah,
Yes.
yes. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go back to call for citizen participation. Any members of the public wish to provide commentary to the planning committee? If so, please just announce yourself and your affiliation. Maybe raise your hand if you want to speak.
I think it's connecting to audio. Is anything?
Oh, okay.
Says.
Yeah, Naomi, you're muted. Not sure if you were trying.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, yeah, I just got in. Thank you.
Naomi, did you wish to provide commentary?
No, I'll just introduce myself because I missed the introduction. I'm with Creighton Manning.
Okay. Thank you for that. Bert, were you wishing to provide commentary? If you're having trouble connecting, just we'll put a pause here, and once you resolve that issue, we have the policy committee. We'll have public participation at the policy board in a little bit. So, all right. I'm not seeing anyone else raise their hand, so we're going to move on then. Going to ask for the approval of the meeting minutes from our February 26th, 2026 meeting.
Second.
Denise motions, second. Jesse, all the members in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Minutes are approved. Communications and announcements. Just a reminder, the Transit Ready New York application deadline is Thursday, May 21st, 2026. We're going to move on to reports and actions on old business. And I'm going to ask Stacy and to lead us in that. Stacy?
Okay, first thing we wanted to do was introduce everyone to Chris Fair. He joined us in March as a senior planner for the transportation unit. He's from the area, but was recently working at the city of Flagstaff. And he worked not with the MPO in particular, but with their MPO as a representative of the city. So he's not unfamiliar with MPOs, which is great. I don't know if you want to say any more about yourself.
Thank you, Stacy. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to join the OCTC team. In my last role with the city of Flagstaff, Arizona, I was a transportation planner and focused mostly on safety improvements and active transportation. And I'm from Cornwall, New York, so I'm very happy to be back. And I can apply everything that I've learned elsewhere in the world to the place that I'm from. So excited to work with you all.
I went to college in Flagstaff.
And you? That's what brought me out there. That's cool. That's very good.
Wilson Hall.
You know, I was in grad school, so I lived off campus, but great.
Cool, funny.
Small world.
Okay, so,
Right.
transportation on-call RFP, law has approved it. I'm still trying to get it out of DGS so we can get it to, NISDOT, their review. And then we'll be able to publish it hopefully soon. And that's when all the plans and studies will be able to start. OCTC, DCTC, and UCTC is the transportation management area has had 2 meetings with the people have probably seen papers, the West of Hudson Transit Study that NISDOT is developing, the Public Transportation Bureau unit of NISDOT, and we started getting them copies of our plans and studies. So they're still developing the scope of that, and we're going to meet with them monthly. There's probably going to be larger technical advisory committees, study advisory committee. So we'll have more news on that in the future. We're continuing work on the congestion management plan update. Chris has GIS skills, so which is great. He's been working with members of DCTC and UCTC on that process. And we also completed a update to the 2026 air quality conformity determination, which was triggered by amendments to NIMTIC's regional transportation plan and their tip, as well as DCTC's metropolitan transportation plan update. Both of those are equivalent to OCTC's LRTP. And we'll discuss that more under new business. We worked with ICGC and NISDOT on various tip amendments you'll see throughout this meeting. So we're busy with that, and we're making progress on the UPWP reimbursement backlog still. That is ongoing. And then I wanted to take this opportunity to note that I will be retiring as of July 1st.
That's you.
Wow, you didn't stay very long.
I've been with the county for 19 years now. I was with the state of Vermont for another 6, 7 before that. But yeah, I'm going to possibly be doing some consulting after that point. So I'll still be around for a few more weeks. Just wanted to let everyone know, and it's been wonderful working with everybody.
Same.
Yeah, I want to thank Stacy for really tremendous contributions to OCTC. She's helped us a great deal to get our policies and procedures in place. It's helped us straighten out the UPW workbooks to get us kind of where we need to be. And I think she's helped to develop a more sound foundation for OCTC to grow and move forward. And it'll be a tremendous loss for the OCTC to have Stacy go, but I also, am very happy for her as she takes this next step in her life and pursues graduate studies. And so wish you all the best. Thank you for all that you've done for us up to this point. I know it seems like a brief period, but Stacy's been with us 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies.
It does. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, and all the best to you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We're gonna move on to other member reports. Do any members wish to provide project updates to the planning committee?
Should that be during the planning committee side?
No, you can do it now.
I was mentioning to Alan before, everyone here may be aware that the town of Warwick received a Bridge New York grant for our Jane Street Bridge that's been closed now for over 7 years. Working with New York State, bureaucracy, no offense. It takes a long time to go through this process when you get any amount of grant funding. So we're going through all the motions. We're in the design phase right now. We're anticipating by June having a 30 to 40% design complete, which is a major target for us because then we can reevaluate the cost estimate of the project. This was a project where I think 5 years ago, Mike Sweeten started applying for Bridge New York grants with an approximate estimate of $4 million to complete the bridge. We recognize it's going to be significantly higher than that. So we did get Bridge New York and Marcaselli, and I think we're at like 98% funded by those two programs. But that's at a $4 million cost. So once we understand where we're heading with the June design target, we'll I'll come back to this committee and see if there's any more funds available to help us get to where it ends up being. Because we're prepared for 6 million. I mean that's our estimate just based on inflation and everything else.
I bet it's higher than you.
I bonded 6.5, but I wasn't going to say that right now.
That's still enough.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Only from my experience with other projects where, it starts out here and then it's double
Yeah.
by the time you're done.
Right. Yeah. It's that, going from 4 to 6 is a 33, it's a big jump. So hopefully, it doesn't go much higher than that, but just wanted to update everybody. We're making good progress. Our target is spring of next year, but that hinges on DOT's, evaluations and, us getting everything to them on time and then coming back to us, but that's our goal.
Who's the engineer?
HDR. Yeah, they were on the list of, they're our planning board engineer, and they were on the DOT's list of approved engineers to do it. So that really streamlined the process to get things going. So, yeah.
Very good. Any other member updates? Okay, we're going to move right on to old business then. Can ask Stacy to lead us in the discussion on the update of the 2025 functional classification change request.
I know we've been working with NISDOT on sorting out some traffic count issues, which I think I still need a follow-up email with Ally regarding that as to whether they have enough data or whether we need more and who's going to gather it. And then we also haven't heard back from the town and village of Woodbury, the town of Monroe. And we also need to work with County DPW as they own small portions of roads. And I think at this point, we were talking amongst the MPO staff and we're thinking maybe we'll suggest meeting with Village of Shoal, your engineering consultant, and come up with a plan maybe for a meeting to bring together folks from all those municipalities so we can talk out the details of everything.
Very good. Okay. We're going to move on to review of the final TIP project selection framework. I'm going to ask Chris to lead us in that discussion.
Sure, sounds good. Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
Raina, is this what's open? So do we need to go
Fine.
to the P drive?
If you'd like to, I can pass it off to me and I can host and.
I think that we should be. Well, yeah. Okay. Okay, so at the last OCTC meeting, the project selection framework was discussed. One major revision to the existing document was included, and you can see it here in this one-page red line. It was just striking likely to be completed on time and on budget. So we went ahead and made that change, and the final version is available in the meeting materials as well. I guess we can, take time to discuss further if necessary, but if not, we're going to move it on to policy board later today.
Okay. Very good. All right. Next, we're going to continuation of the voting membership discussion. There was a request at our February planning committee meeting to revisit the voting membership. Staff have collected and reviewed data on population, centerline miles of road ownership, and square footage of bridge deck ownership to review, as well as options for revising the voting membership structure proposed at the previous planning committee meetings. Want to take some time to briefly review the road and bridge ownership data, then population, and then we would like to present to you a proposed alternative structure for member consideration and discussion. So do we have the road mile data?
I don't have any experience of all, but we know right where it is.
Okay.
Around where.
Um, as they're pulling that up, we did look at that data. And from my perspective, it's kind of meaningless, to be perfectly honest, but we'll share that with you.
It was shared in prior meetings.
It was.
It was covered, so. A
Uh,
lot of us have seen it.
Okay.
They've got the copies too.
Yeah, I do agree with what you said about being meaningless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because many of them in the middle of nowhere, miles and miles. And
Yeah.
miles.
So with that, I mean, if we have it handy, if not, don't sweat it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're okay.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
I was having it out before.
Yeah, but we went through that exercise. I just want to assure everyone that we did that. So with that, we'll focus here. So the current voting structure, we have permanent voting members consist of the three cities only. And then we have the three regions, the Newburgh urbanized area, the southern area, and Western Gateway area. So the towns in those areas select two voting members, and then the villages collectively select two voting members. So we internally, Stacy, Chris, and I have been like going around, and we had I think it was 4 scenarios that was presented to the board originally. And then we went back and kind of put our heads together and have developed a refinement of that. A few of the things that I was trying to achieve in the refinement is to have a little better balance in terms of the population in each of the sub areas, to ensure that our largest municipalities have a permanent seat on the policy board. So we're proposing that the 3 cities remain permanent voting members, but that also any municipality with a population exceeding 25,000 also are a permanent voting member. 25,000.
I
would say
think it may have been 30.
It's 30, excuse me. All right. That's right. We had 2 options. Thank you. So with that, and I guess the third thing is that we're pulling the villages into the towns. So we'll go on to the map. So this is our recommendation back to the.
So I thought like if there was a municipality within a town, the town could not have a representative. So like the city is in, no?
Cities okay.
Okay.
We're keeping the cities on their own. It's partly because the cities, by their very nature, have a different ownership.
How they handle the road maintenance, everything kind of stops at the city line, whereas that's
Yeah.
not the same for the towns and the villages.
So there is a rationale for
Okay.
having the cities maintain permanent voting status. So then, we looked at the geography. If you look at the little chart to the left, it's not perfect, but there's a pretty fair balance between each of the areas in terms of population. So that's one of the criteria that I wanted to filter through this lens. The other, we created the areas in the southwestern area or southern area, however we want to ultimately call that. That's the southern part of the county. If you look at the west central area, basically it's those communities along New York State Route 17 that from Chester, going west. And then we have a east central area, which is everything, from Blooming Grove going down to Tuxedo along Route 17. So there's rationale there. We've created a Hudson River area. You could argue, why didn't we include town of Newburgh in that? And my rationale there is two things. One, I needed a better population balance, so I pulled in the town of Newburgh. Also, with the I-84 corridor, there's definitely synergies between what's happening in logistics between town of Newburgh, town of Montgomery, etc. And also, if you go north of the bridge, in terms of transportation infrastructure, in the town of Newburgh, the waterfront is really made up of single-family homes. There's no public boat facilities or boat slips or anything of that nature. When you get south of the brook, the Newburgh Beacon Bridge, there's definitely water transportation infrastructure that has historically been there. So with that, I'm not asking the board to make a definitive decision today, but I'm hoping that you'll embrace this. I think it does address creating, a permanent voting member status for the most populous municipalities in the county. It ensures in each one of those regions there is a permanent voting member. And in addition to that, the municipalities in each of these areas as a sub area will be selecting voting members.
So you're adding 3, Alan?
So that town of Newburgh.
Are you adding 3 members now?
Warwick,
Permanent?
Four.
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 AJ and 3 towns.
Yes.
So the population.
You could still have 2 members in the southwestern area plus the Warwick one. Is that what
No.
you're saying? Or is it just 2 in the southwestern, one of which will be the Warwick one? Which is
You're going to have, I know we had this written down.
Members.
Well, you could sort of go either way. You can keep the permanent members out of the no dual, like if a village is within a town,
Yeah.
they can't be the rep at the same time. Or you could include the permanent members in that. Kind of depends on.
That is a very good question. I'm going to ask the board to ponder that and to think about that. I mean, I'm being serious.
It's always the permanent members always were excluded from that little caveat. Anyways, I don't think that'd be an issue, but I'm not sure, you got a permanent town, you want 2 more permanent towns in the same zone. It won't be 2 of them balanced, but you're electing the Hudson area and the East Central area wouldn't have the ability to have 2 on top of permanent member.
We need to think that it's a good question.
Central would, because they're they're getting a permit.
So towns, we're talking about 2 towns. Because you already have city, Middletown, and you have town of Wilkes in red zone. Now you're gonna have 2 more towns, that's the whole zone. You know what I mean?
Well, we could, I mean, one thought, and this is just like off the top of my head. So, we might be able to set it up in such a way that each area has 3 voting members.
Yeah.
So if you happen to have 2 permanent voting members, you get to select 1 additional voting member.
Still be odd.
And
I don't think so.
no, okay,
Go back
that's why I need you to ponder it.
the current one, because that's the other considerate, like the villages are now like in the region, they're not their own separate entity, so with that,
what's the
That
target
may make a
number
difference.
of members that you want? What's the target number?
You gotta back into that. Isn't usually 12 considered because you're having problems
Just 8
getting,
members.
you're having problems getting enough people here to vote.
yeah,
So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You don't want to add too much, it comes up. We'll never get anything done.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
too many people.
in this scenario, we weren't adding. I'm gonna go back. How?
I think the way you laid it out
The
was
new
good. I mean, that makes a lot of sense the way you laid it out. You go to the
Okay.
other one,
That's
we can
great.
work our way into 12, right?
Currently, there's 8 at large. You're making a lot more than that in this way.
Okay. Hear that. That's very good feedback. That we
Just a point, I don't know if.
I think we're moving in the right
Someone come
direction.
From Wallkill, has anyone ever, George Serrano or
No.
the new guy ever been
They,
here?
they used to come a lot. They used to come a lot. When Dan DePue was here.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, but how many years ago? That was before Eddie.
No, but they have a big interest as well. You know, I don't wanna speak for them.
Yeah.
Well, the way your operating procedures are set up now, the representatives are supposed to be going back to their areas and consulting with them.
Yes.
Before they vote. So whether that's happening, I don't know. Something to keep in mind.
I would definitely.
So, I think our homework then is to come back with another recommendation that will we'll give you a couple options, like 2 options. We'll come back in June with to have a little more, make sure we have equity in the voting membership of the areas, and that we don't have a committee that's so large that we'll never have a forum. That kind of,
You wanna keep it around 12, right? Is that the idea?
I just threw that number out working with committees, just, that's usually the maximum size you would want.
Yeah. I agree.
okay.
What do we have now? I don't know the answer.
I think you have 8
8.
excluding the cities.
Yeah.
The
Excluding.
quorum is 8. I think there are maybe 17 members.
No, but that includes the
No,
state,
16.
that includes the state and others.
Or
But
15.
municipal members, you only have.
15, of course, it's 15, total 8 per quorum.
And of which 3 are permanent?
No, they
No,
don't.
no. 8,
Oh.
8 plus 3.
Oh, okay.
And 3 are permanent, 8 are rotating.
11
Oh,
plus
yeah.
the state plus
Yeah.
MTA plus.
Okay.
11.
I think we're moving in the right direction, and this feedback's really helpful. Okay. Okay.
It's not an expert.
Good job.
in the
Good job
maps.
so far.
Not an expert in the maps. What, we had them place names on each of these towns?
Kind of
new with that,
right?
Yes, we can do that.
No, I'm not an expert in the entire county.
No, we can do that. Valiant. Yes.
Thank you.
It's yeah, I feel like
The table on the left in here is the population, is that what it is?
yes. It's not a perfectly even distribution, but it's
close.
really almost impossible to get, but it's a lot more balanced than it was. It was very lopsided to the eastern part of the county. It was like almost double the population of the other 2 areas. So, which makes sense because it's the area that's growing the worst.
If you kept it as you have it there and added 1 permanent member, or not, you added the permanent members and then just had 1 member assigned per every other zone, you get to 11.
That's right.
But you just said the population was lopsided.
No, but they redid.
No, you're talking about leaving it the way it is.
No, you're talking
What?
about.
You're talking about the new map.
The new map. So if we kept the new map
Okay.
with the proposed permanent members and we just added 1 for each of these, so forget about the permanent members, you add 1 to each of these.
You get to 12.
Yeah.
I think you're at 11 or 12. But the only one that I'd be concerned about is the East Central because that is, I would say, the largest and most populated area. They might argue that.
You
they
can
should
also
do that.
look at infrastructure.
Well, it's pretty close.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
because you do it by population is interesting. It'd be interesting to know how many road miles and bridges.
You know what I did?
Yeah,
I took 17, split it in half. So that gave me the East and West Central,
yeah.
right? And then 84 corridor. That's how I lumped in Newburgh. And then also 84 when you get to the other part. So that's, let's face it, that's in terms of highway infrastructure, those are the arteries that run through the county. So maybe,
Yeah,
I
but
think
those roads are controlled by the state.
You don't have throughway on there.
Yeah.
we didn't want to confuse you all.
Well, you just did.
We're like, we had to give you just enough information to, I think we're close. I mean, you're not going to have a perfect system. Man, I'm just, I think this is a good foundation to work from. And if there's consensus on that, we'll go back and refine how the voting is going to occur. And feel free in between to give us your input and feedback. So with that,
Al, before the June meeting, can you get some of this stuff out?
yes.
The 25th, not the 4th, but it's.
Right, okay. Yeah. Yes. So we'll get names on the map and then we'll come up with two scenarios. I'm going to keep it to on the voting. And then we'll take it from there. So I do think we're close and I think it'll be an enhancement. So thank you for that. We're going to move on to new business unless there's further discussion on this. No? Okay. Oh, no, so I'm going to take this opportunity to note 2 points of clarification regarding agenda items under new business. First, for the fiscal year 2630 tip, there will be no amendment. OCTC 2603 will be moving directly from 02 to 04. This is to resolve a technical issue with the rollout of New York State DOT's new tip management software. And second, please note our first 2 items, A and B, in this section on the agenda include projects from separate funding program that were all on the same draft tip amendment, OCTC 2604, which was provided in the meeting materials. I'm going to move on to a review of the proposed tip amendment for OCTC 2604. These are the 5310 awards, and I'm going to ask Stacy to lead us in the discussion.
Okay. Are these first one up? They were in the packets too. The 5310 is this is NISDOT 5310 funding from FTA to meet transportation needs for seniors and individuals with disabilities. Certain nonprofits and public entities are available for this funding. And they issue it on usually biannual basis. For 25-26 funding round, there were 2 awards in the OCTC planning area. One on page 2 of draft tip amendment, OCTC 2604, is for the Jewish Family Service of Orange County, Inc. for laptops, tablets, and web-based portal enhancements to improve client intake, scheduling, and volunteer management, reduce wait times, and expand transportation access for senior and individuals with disabilities throughout the county. And then the second award on page 3 is to Access Supports for Living Inc. for replacement of 1 vehicle and an expansion of the fleet by 2 vehicles. And then please also be advised the drafts for both of these projects, both of these pins, has sort of in a sentence in error, the last sentence in the project description for each that notes implementation in the city of Middletown and Curious Joel, and that's going to be deleted from both of those pins in the final draft. We want to put it out for public comment. And this will be posted for 14-day public comment by tomorrow. And then it's proposed adoption, or will be proposed for adoption at the special June 4th meeting to make the deadline that MISDOT needs to meet with FTA.
Okay. Any questions? Move on then to the review of the proposed tip amendment 2604 for the Village of Curious Joel. These are 5339 award for bus purchases. Stacy?
And this is on this award is on the same amendment. This is an award that Curious Joel was awarded from federal discretionary 5339 funds. They applied for it through a competitive program, and they were awarded $5,780,000 for the purchase of 8 buses to expand their fixed route service. This will also be added to the tip by this amendment, and it appears on page 1. And we just wanted to note in the final draft of this amendment, it's the corrected one on the screen yet, the project air quality code B10, which is for purchase of new buses and rail cars, to replace existing vehicles or for minor expansions, less than 10% of the fleet is going to be corrected to K1, which is exempt slash not regionally significant through interagency consultation, per review and concurrence by the ICG. And this will also, this is on the same amendment. Obviously, it's going to be for adoption at the June 4th policy board.
Stacy, thank you. Any questions? Okay, moving along. We had the review of the 2025 Mid-Hudson Valley TMA 5307, 5340, and 5339 distribution. The Mid-Hudson Valley TMA agreed upon a distribution for the fiscal year 2025 FTA funding for the 5307, 40, and 39 programs. Section 5307 and 5340 are the urbanized area formula appropriations, and Section 5339 is the grants for buses and bus facilities formula program. Resolution 2504 is for the apportionment of the federal fiscal year 2025 Federal Transit Administration Section 5307, 5340 formula funds in the Mid-Hudson Valley TMA. And Resolution 2505 is the apportionment of the federal fiscal year 2025 Federal Transit Administration Section 5339 formula funds for the Mid-Hudson Valley TMA. Both of these resolutions are on the agenda for adoption at today's policy board meetings. So any voting members, please make sure you stay for the policy board so that we can get these passed today. Any questions? Okay. Going to move on to the review of the spring 2026 air quality conformity determination. And I'm going to ask Chris to lead us in this conversation.
Sure. Thank you, Alan. So the OCTC was recently prompted to update our air quality conformity determination. This was necessary because of amendments to NIMTIC's RTP and their TIP, as well as Dutchess County Transportation Council's upcoming adoption of an updated Metropolitan Transportation Plan. Major changes from the last version to this one are really the updated tables at the bottom of the document. And following this meeting, the draft will be posted for a 30-day public comment period and will be presented for adoption on June 25th to the policy board.
Very good, Chris. Thank you. Do any members wish to raise any other new business with the planning committee? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on. Next OCTC meeting dates for reference. Unless otherwise noted, the next 3 meetings will be from 1 to 3 in the classroom number 4 at the Fire Training Center, 9 Training Center Lane, New Hampton, New York, 10958. Not that you needed the zip code, but I'm throwing it in there. The agendas will be distributed closer to each meeting date, and we'll confirm whether the meeting will involve a planning committee and or policy board. June 4th, policy board, 1 to 3, Orange County Government Center, right here in the Legislative Statutory Committee room. As this is a special meeting, we would like to confirm quorum now. Respectfully request that to ensure that we do not need to look at alternative dates. It's incredibly difficult to get this room scheduled. This meeting will likely not be more than 10 minutes long once a quorum is present. So it's going to be a brief meeting. We strongly encourage any voting members who have not already designated a stand-in proxy to please do so as to prevent a last-minute quorum issues. Multiple proxies may also be designated with an order of procedure in the event that one or more proxies is present at any meeting. We would encourage members to please consider revisiting the OCTC operating procedures to provide options to vote virtually and or via mail to avoid emergency in-person meetings. So that's the June 4th meeting. June 25th. Also here in the legislative statutory committee meeting. And then August 13th and 8th, we're back at the fire training center.
Is the reason why we're not doing all the meetings there? To avoid this kinds of travel hiccups, people going from one place to another.
It's a matter of getting the space when it's available.
That's all it's about.
Well, no one was in that room. I can tell you.
Oh my God,
Tell
okay.
me that again. Let me just write down exactly what, no,
I will-
please.
I'll also say, one of the other factors is the technology here is better and easier to use, and there's support staff in the building. So sometimes if we run into a technical issue at fire training center, it's not like we have anyone readily available to come in and help work out the technical issue.
It's close to Alan's office.
Yeah.
Well, no, not
Really,
this building.
Jesse, no.
Yeah, but it's,
Yeah, we got a job.
I do get my steps in.
Yeah.
So for that,
Talking with all that stuff.
I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
make the motion.
Second. Okay. Meeting is adjourned. Let's take 5 minutes. Permanent voting members, please make sure you're here for the full board, but we'll take a 5-minute recess.
Want us to come back?
Please, please. And we'll convene at 2:00.
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon. I'd like to call this afternoon's meeting of the Orange County Transportation Council May 14th, 2026 Policy Board meeting to order. We'll start off with introductions. I'll kick us off. Alan Sorensen, Orange County Planning Commissioner, MPO Director.
Stacy Butler, Deputy Commissioner of Planning for Orange County.
Jesse Dwyer, Town of Warwick Supervisor.
Jacob Tawian, Commissioner